I think I'm live. Maybe. Let me see. Am I live? Live streaming. Let's just click that button and see what's happening here. Nope. Should have had this ready to go to begin with. My bad. I am live. I think. But I don't know how to get to my own link. Oh boy. I'm gonna have to do this like one of you guys. Search myself here. Oh, damn it. Thank you for all your wonderful comments in chat, if there are any at this point. I am struggling mightily to figure out how to get my own live dashboard. I can only seem to be able to edit it. Come on, Wheats. You've done this. You've been on this rodeo enough to figure this out. Okay, let's do this. Let's do... Ooh, that's not it. That's not it. Let's do this. Let's go here. Boy, this is really, really something that I cannot figure this chart out. What? No. Oh my God. Oh boy. Sorry everybody. I do not know what I am doing. I literally cannot find my own way into my own live stream. My normal way of doing it is blocked for some reason. So I am unable to see chat. And now YouTube is crashing. Boy, I'm here. I seem to be here. I seem to be here. Is it working? I can see chat. Hey. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Hello. I am live as... I'm professional as AF fuck, as that one stuff said. Yes. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing out there? I did it. You know, you would think after doing this for this many years, I would have this shit down pat, but never trust a stupid person not to be stupid. I'll fuck about just anything up. There's no limits to what I'll fuck up. So, how's everyone doing? Pokemon says he needs some milk. Pokemon 2019 must not know that I have lactophobia. Terrified of milk. The devil's juice, one of the grossest substances known to man. It's awful. It's terrible. Devil's juice. Milk. Gross. Shame on you. Okay, Isaac says he's faded already. Good for you, man. Isaac. Smoking with the wheats. Welcome, Wedman. I'm sorry I'm so glad you could join us. And guys, I'm already quite faded as well. I had some of my patented THC capsules. I made up another batch earlier this week and indulged on a couple right before about 45 minutes ago, and they're starting to hit. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Oh my God, Angie Anna's gonna go see Steve-O live in a bit. Where is Steve-O live being held? I'm a huge Steve-O fan. I always have a warm spot in my heart for Jackass. And I'm so glad that Steve-O is clean and sober and seems to be doing really well. And, you know, I mean, outside of the one sort of stunt that he had a couple years ago, which was even kind of cool in a way. But, yeah, good for Steve-O. What's he doing Steve-O live? Is he, like, gonna, you know, hit himself with some shit? Green Dino says, can you make some homemade edible videos? That would be really nice. I should, and I think I will get around to it at some point, Green Dino. I have not actually made any edibles ever, other than the only thing I've ever made is capsules. I have an Ardent Nova, which is a decarb machine, basically, for weed. and I take my decarbed weed and then infuse it with MCT oil in the same Ardent Nova, and then fill little capsules up with the oil, and they work. Gus Gang says he's having a terrible day, but he's back. Glad that I went live. What's going on, Gus? What's dragging you down, man? And that one stuff made Rick Simpson oil for the first time. RSO. Never made RSO. I don't think I've ever actually tried, actual Rick Simpson oil, but a lot of people swear by it. Wedman says, love edibles. Who doesn't? Brendan, love you too, man. And just getting off work. Do you work over the weekends? Because if not, there's no better feeling than getting off on a Friday before a weekend. Not that I would know, haven't really had that life in a while, but I remember those days. King Yeti says, from the fighter and the kid or the king and the sting, I am too high to know what that means. If you could fill me in, that's awesome. That one says, I'm glad he is clean, but it was fun watching him drunk as fuck smashing that table on TV. I think I know what you're referring to. Are you referring to that infamous, was it an Adam Carolla interview where he was just, I assume he was more than just drunk in that interview. He had to be on some other kind of substances. I also remember, I think seeing a clip of his place on Cribs one time in the sort of the zenith of his addictions, where he like converted his whole place into like a half pipe. His like living room was like a fucking skate park. It was crazy. Tyler Tango says, I won't ever buy edibles from a shop again. So much cheaper. Just get decent shatter and decarb for brownies. It's quick. Good advice. And usually a lot cheaper. I have not actually ever decarbed. I've never used concentrates to make my things with. I know a lot of people swear about it, but I've never actually decarbed concentrates. I was doing it in Brea. Oh, cool. One stuff says, Nova, Everclear, boil off alcohol, go to the moon. Nice, easy tincture recipe. Gus Gang, his problems are girl problems. You know the deal. Thankfully, Gus, I have not had to experience those problems in many years. I have had or have a long-term partner, and it's great. Man, I'm married, so I'm married. I don't tell, I don't know if I've ever even said that. I've been married for 6 years. I had my 6-year wedding anniversary this year. And I'm a big old, I'm not a tradition. I'm anti-tradition in every way. I don't believe in doing things because it's the way they've always been done. In some ways, I still find the institution of marriage a little off-putting. But all that being said, being married is fucking great if you find the person that you just want to be around. Man, it's awesome. It's awesome. I've been with my wife for 10 years, married for 6. Yeah, I met my wife 10 years ago. 10 years ago, almost to the month. So, yeah, it's cool. I hope you find your partner for life, man. Or if you're not looking for a partner for life, I hope you find somebody who satisfies you. Okay, Black Mariner says, I got a cherry on top. Murder Mountain on Netflix. Ooh, tell me about Murder Mountain on Netflix. I would like to, I might have to check that out. And I appreciate extra cherry on top recommendations. 777 says, it's payday and it's Friday. Just filmed 4 new reviews. Check us out, Wheats. I will definitely check you guys out. Is your YouTube channel 777? Is that how I say it? 777? Or is it 777? Don't know. I'll let Big Brown break it down for you. Murder Mountain is crazy. I might have to check this out. Concentrates are a lot easier to work with than flour, says Tyler Tango. Really, in decarbing. What is your decarbing method, Tyler? I use like the Ardent Nova, that little purple thing right there. It's just a little cylindrical oven, and that's, you just press a button and 90 minutes later it's done. Square Life, baby. Brennan Schaub says, I mix a mix of flour and concentrates the perfect high. I find myself doing a variety of products as well, not just for reviews, but I like to keep things, you know, with some variety in there. I do concentrates. Speaking of, I don't know where my, oh, here it is. Maybe I'll do some concentrates right here with you guys, with my trusty Yukon. But I do everything, flour, concentrates, carts, and of course edibles. And I think I confused a lot of people. I put up a poll earlier this week saying, oh, what do you guys want to see more of here on Wheats? Like, you know, do you want more cartridge reviews? Do you want more edible reviews? Do you want more of these expose things that I've been doing recently? And the answer was overwhelmingly cartridges, which is great and which is fine. And they are coming, but I still have all this backlog stuff that is going to be continuing for like another 6 weeks probably. So there will be a bigger focus on cartridges, but it won't happen until probably like August. Until then, I'll continue to do small things in between, you know, in addition to the stuff that's just in the archive. Like all these expose pieces have happened contemporaneously. I've worked on those because I haven't been working on other reviews. So I had all this time with the archives to do these bigger pieces. But the cartridge reviews are coming, including, yes, I promise, plug and play. It is coming, and you guys are right about it's to hype it up. But I said enough. All right, where we at? Gus Gang says, man, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear. Yes, thank you for saying that, Gus. And I really, really hope for you, man, that you get your problems worked out and things work out. And Gus, I'm gonna let you know. I don't know how old you are, Gus. I don't know if you're a young man or an old man, but in the world of I don't know. It seems like things work out. You know, as long as you are a good person and you're trusting and respectful about the person that you choose to be with, things are going to work out. I hope. It seems to be true in my case. Dylan says, isn't this your first live? Been watching over a year. Cheers. Dylan, this is far, 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 far from my first live video. I've done dozens, maybe. I haven't done them as frequently recently, but I did two last week, I think. Even when I had those other pieces come out, I had done a couple more live streams. And I'll continue to do more live streams, and hopefully I'll actually have them scheduled more. But I've been working on these pieces. Okay, so yes, Dylan, I do live stream fairly often. And Brendan says, I hate decarbing concentrate. The bubbling scares me. That is the thing that seems weird about decarbing concentrate to me. It's like, well, it's so, you know, concentrate is so sticky and viscous. It's like, it just seems weird that you would then melt it and then reform it and, you know, I don't know. But I'll definitely try it. So here's Tyler's method. Just 230 degrees for 20 to 40 minutes, depending on the strain. Whip and check every few minutes till bubbling stops. Toss in the freezer for an hour. Oh, well, thank you. I will have to check that back out, man. I will have to give that a shot because I buy a fair number of concentrates, and it seems here in Southern California, oftentimes you can get a better deal on concentrates than actual flour, which seems weird to me, but if that might be the way to go for me. Excuse me. 77777 says, I want to see more cart reviews and exposed videos. Good. Both those things are coming. Thank you for letting me know. War Crime says, have I done any THC pills? Yes, I've actually reviewed 3 or 4 maybe half a dozen different THC pills. Most of the time I find them not to be very good. I really like Pro Tab Level Blend, something like that. They're not actually, they're tablets. They're not pills. They're like, I don't actually know how they infuse them, but they look like powdered tablets instead of gel capsules. They're weird. They're pretty good. But war crime, I'm also doing THC pills right now. As I said at the beginning, I'll show you. These are my special here we go. These are my special homemade gross ass THC pills. I have a big old bunch there. Yeah, these are, I think they come out to about, well, I actually don't know, because these capsules are actually from bud that I had already vaped from my volcano, which you can see right there. So I threw that, even though it didn't need to be decarbed again, I did it anyways. And then like all my pills, they're all, it's MCT oil is what I use to infuse. I just bought a big old bottle of it on Amazon. And then, yeah, the pills have enough, with the oil, have enough fat in them to be good from the get-go, even though technically if it's decarb, you shouldn't really have to, have additional fat. It seems to me that I do get a better experience if I do have some additional fat, but of course these pills being oil have plenty of them. So yes, they're great. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but those are the best, these are the best pills I've ever had, THC pills I've had. Oh, and there's the, Tyler is finishing out his awesome brownie recipe, which I need to do, man. I'm gonna have to check that out, man. Joey Anton says, try a Dr. Zodiac cart and review it. The review should be out late July, early August. I already reviewed one. And spoiler alert, I thought it was pretty good. Dr. Zodiac's, I had the blue something. It was like blue raspberry. I don't know. It was pretty good. I really did enjoy it. And I'll have that review out at some point. And again, Tyler, thank you for that recipe, my man. I might have to do that. Caden, what's up, my man? And he wants to know if I can do a smart car review. I will certainly add it to the list. You are not the only one who has recommended that. I will certainly seek that out for our next season. Added that one right to the list. And Tyler Tango says, just buy a cheap 6 to 10 gram slab and you'll have a few batches. Which out here you can find, I've seen like 5 gram batches of, lower quality shatter for right at about $100, which is pretty goddamn good. Translucent Man says, yo, I need some advice. I'm getting back surgery due to a fractured vertebra and in tremendous pain. I am sorry to hear that, man. That really, really sucks. Hopefully you can find some product for you. He says, also, I smoke every day, but it's not helping the pain anymore. Any THC products you can recommend for pain? Translucent Man, I would try tincture. I would give tincture a shot. Get a nice, powerful THC tincture or make your own. It's actually really not that hard. I have some of my own tincture I've made back there. There you can dose very accurately, especially if you're doing it for pain medication or pain control, where you're not necessarily looking to get, super high, but just want to keep your pain down. Tincture is a great way to know exactly how much you're dosing. And you can, then have a marker going forward, like, oh, I need 1.5 drops, or, I need 3 drops of tincture to work with the pain. It's going to be much more concentrated than flower. It will take a little bit longer to work than flower, but it should have much, much longer lasting effects. A tincture taken sublingually should come on, you should notice an effect in about 15 minutes. Sublingually takes, you notice it faster than if you're just ingesting it. So take some tincture under your tongue, and that would be my best advice, man. And you can, really just dial in the right dosage for you. And Dylan wants me to do more Orchid Essential cart reviews. I would love to because I love Orchid. And I have not done West Coast Cure. Looking out for that one as well. 7777 says, have you seen those dab pill things? Would you do dab videos in the future? I've not seen the dab pill things. I have seen and really like the dab syringes. I think that's really the best way to go if you have a very viscous sort of concentrate. The syringes, you know, that you can really decide exactly how much you want to drop on your nail or whatever. Those are great. And actually, technically, you can, you know, do all kinds of other things with this syringe, infuse things, whatever the case may be. But as for doing dab videos, I'm not that guy, 777. I'm not an interesting person. I'm not like a fun guy to hang out with, like, you know, the kind of person that people just want to come and chill with, and watch smoke. I'm a results guy. Like, people come to me because they say like, oh, you wasted your money on this. Let me know if I should waste mine. I'm just, you know, I don't think people would enjoy watching me just smoke because there are many, many more interesting and fascinating people out there who cover that. I'm a bit of a bore. All right. That one stuff says, I had a BB-sized dab of RSO in a cap. Took 3 hours, but hit hard. Wow, that is a strong endorsement. And again, I have heard a lot of good things about Rick Simpson oil. Okay, where are we? Tyler Tango says, on the fat note, make sure you get a dark chocolate or add some chocolate or peanut butter to the batch. Yes. Always got to make sure you get that fat content up and up. And peanut butter, dark chocolate, good ways to do that. I have the Bobby Blue Moon Rock? Is that what I had from Dr. Zodiac's? I thought it was blue raspberry something, to be honest. I'm actually going to do a nice, turn this on here. And I'll have the review for this out at some point. And David says, cream is his miracle for pain. Great, man. I have never really had any luck with topicals. They don't, well, I don't really take weed for pain, to be honest. It doesn't, I mean, I do it almost purely recreationally. So the topical part isn't as, you know, relevant to me, but yeah, I would maybe give that a shot too, the topicals, especially if your pain is super localized, which, you know, being, was it a fractured vertebrae? Seems like it could be. So, yeah, maybe try David's advice as well. See if that works. War Crime says, in LA, some shops sell fake heavy hitter carts. I'm going to let you know, War Crime, some shops in LA sell fake every kind of cart. Heavy hitters, brass knuckles, kingpin. If it's popular, somebody is probably pirating it and selling it on the black market. You can pretty easily find those. You can just buy that shit on eBay if you want to. You can buy like fake brass knuckles carts and, you know, you're off to the races. That one stuff says, I put a drop of marijuana infused Everclear under my tongue. Yeah, don't do that. Anytime, I suck with alcohol. I am a big old baby with alcohol. I have never been able to get over how revolting it tastes. Still makes me gag. I don't really drink ever. I mean, I would say I get tipsy maybe twice a year. Never drunk, mostly just tipsy. It usually just makes me sick before I get any sort of, you know, fun effect from drinking. Just not a fan. You know, to those who it's their salve for the complications and craziness of the modern world, good for you, not for me. But that's not what you were talking about. Yes, Everclear is what many people make tinctures out of. I would assume it's revolting. I always make the tincture I made out of is out of oil. Like, you can make tinctures out of coconut or MCT oil as well, but it's easier to do with ever clear. Okay, and Tyler Tango backing me up there. Yes, they sell fake everything out here. Everything is pirated, which sort of makes sense where everything is quasi. I mean, does Brass Knuckle, I mean, it's not like Brass Knuckles can copyright themselves, right? I mean, if what they're doing is federally illegal, I don't know how any of that works. So because it's all so, it's all so gray and legally fuzzy, it's very easy to pirate shit or steal somebody else's brand because, there's really no enforcement because, the rules are still super unclear. It won't be until there's, a much bigger scale of legalization across the country that some of these things will get ironed out. But I assume going forward, piracy and knockoffs will continue to be a problem just because, I mean, does Brass Knuckles want to draw attention to themselves by like suing somebody? It seems like, you don't want to draw that level of scrutiny upon yourself. I don't know. But that is why piracy is such a big deal for weed products. It's just because you can't really copyright your shit, so you can't really protect it. So if you got a valuable brand, somebody's going to try to Gucci or Versace that shit, It comes with the territory. Okay. Black Mariner says, I would love to see Wheat's recipes, playlist of weed edible recipes. I would love to see that as well, Black Mariner. I just have to actually start making edibles. Again, only ever made capsules and tincture, and my tincture is really just capsules without capsules. So, I need to learn how to actually make this stuff. I really am pretty terrible in a kitchen, though. David says, cosmetic plus hemp cream for pain should be in all cabinets. Well, it certainly seems that we are going that way, especially with CBD. I was lucky enough to have one of my good buddies visit me last week from Knoxville, Tennessee, where I was raised, unfortunately, from the South. So I lived in Knoxville for almost all of my existence. And he came out here and he was filling us in on what has changed out there. And now there are, in fucking goddamn East Tennessee, backwards, revolting East Tennessee, there are CBD shops all over the place. It's my friend described it as the bougiest shit you've ever seen in East Tennessee. And that to me is pretty shocking. Like, I couldn't even imagine when I was living there 3.5 years ago that in 3.5 years' time, CBD is not THC, obviously, and CBD is not illegal anywhere, so obviously, why not? But things are changing. Things are really, really changing. I've heard this point once. I think I've shared it before on with you guys somewhere, maybe on a Cherry on Top or something. I don't know, but here's an incredible thing that has me just really optimistic about the state of weed in the country and the sort of arc of legalization generally, is that anytime a state, this was an economist, I heard this in a lecture, and he basically sort of said, anytime a state gets a revenue stream, a new big revenue stream, they never, ever, ever revoke that. They never take that back. And without fail, states neighboring it then will start adopting that policy. So I guess the closest analog would be something like gambling, like lotteries, for example. Lotteries were totally, super, super illegal everywhere. And then, one state decides, we could use some extra revenue source, so let's make the lottery legal, even though we've been demonizing it for years and years. Then they make that lottery legal. And then all of the shit that they were scared about it happening with having a lottery in a state, like, poor people getting fleeced and taken advantage of, all that shit definitely happens, but they don't ever not have the lottery anymore because they get addicted to that revenue stream. And then, you know, the state next door sees, oh shit, look how much fucking money they're making. Let me get on that. And, you know, and then domino, domino, domino. And it took, the lottery was actually much slower, and it's, you know, the lottery's still not everywhere, but, or lottery systems aren't, but it happened pretty quickly, and it's happening much faster with weed. I would be willing to bet, well, I mean, the world won't really exist much longer, but that's neither here nor there. I would be willing to bet, though, that by 2026, weed will be legal in the United States, writ large. I mean, there might, you know, some states might still elect to ban it for what, I don't actually see that happening. I don't know. I'm going to say it. By 2026, plant my flag, weed will be legal in the United States. Planted. Done. Isaac says, drinking isn't too fun. Agree with you, man. And that one stuff says, weed gives the alcohol a sweet taste. I'm with you on hating alcohol, but it does make it better. Oh, I might have to give it a second shot. Translucent Man says, where can I find some legit barbecue in LA? Great question. A wonderful place in Long Beach, as long as you're willing to spend some money, because it's kind of, to use the word again, bougie. Beachwood Barbecue in Long Beach, pretty fucking great barbecue. And this is somebody who comes from the South, you know, barbecue Mecca. Well, everybody says they're barbecue Mecca, right? Like, Texas is like, no, we have the best fucking barbecue. Memphis is like, no, we have the best fucking barbecue. And then even Kansas City is like, fuck you, you fucking assholes. We have the best fucking barbecue. And, you know, we're Kansas City. And you're like, okay, good for you, man. But yeah, check out Beachwood Barbecue in Long Beach. And Translucent Man, just check out Long Beach if you've never been to Long Beach. It's wonderful. Love it here. Mr. Wolfie says, hi from South Africa. Well, welcome, man. What brings you to our stream all the way from South Africa? And yes, Translucent Man, I'm right there with you, dude. I had so much great barbecue in Knoxville, and my brother went to school in Memphis, and so I had plenty of great barbecue in Memphis, and love it, love it. It is certainly not as big as it is out here, but if you look around, you can find some decent barbecue here. Oh, you live in Long Beach, man. I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, check out Beachwood. It's on the promenade downtown. It's good stuff. But yeah, barbecue, awesome. So the one, now I'm from East Tennessee. I'm not normally one of those snobby, like, oh, you know, this region makes the best this, or, you know, whatever. There's practically nothing I'm snobby about, except for one small thing. It is true that those people in East Tennessee make the best biscuits and gravy in the world. It's so much better. I mean, it's light years better than anything I've had out here. It's almost sort of beguiling how bad it is out here. I don't know if it's just a taste difference or what. Certainly the ones in East Tennessee will, you know, clog your arteries much quicker, but that's why it tastes better. But that's really the only thing that I'm like, has a definitive advantage in the South is biscuits and gravy. Barbecue, yeah, I think you can get good barbecue wherever you're at, you know. There's just more better barbecue in the South. But as for things that are just legit better, biscuits and gravy. That's it. Peg Leg Porker in Nashville, if you're ever there, is so damn good. Used to be in Nashville all the time. Maybe in Nashville later this year. I have not heard of Peg Leg Porker, but if I go to Nashville this year, I will definitely check it out. Thank you for letting me know. Do you know whereabouts in Nashville it is, Translucent Man? And Translucent Man, also Nashville, what a cool city. good for you, Tennessee. I don't hate the whole state of Tennessee. I do think that East Tennessee is a cesspool and mostly just needs to be, nuked from orbit. But the Nashville is such an awesome, interesting, vibrant, cool city. Memphis is such an incredible, just culturally rich, diverse place. I love those parts of the state. And even Knoxville, where I'm from, has some cool parts, but Jesus Christ, you get outside those cities and boy, oh boy, shit. Whew. Tyler Tango says, I live in Santa Clarita. We have no good barbecue. I am sorry, man. It is a travesty if you don't have access to some decent barbecue. But the good thing about barbecue is you can make good barbecue yourself, man. Order good sauce. Like, go to one of those awesome Tennessee barbecue places and buy one of their sauces from their website. Barbecue your own shit. I mean, I'm not speaking from experience. I don't know how to barbecue shit. I don't know how to cook shit. I could burn my fucking house down making Pop-Tarts. But, if I could make barbecue, again, I'm stupid. I am not a smart person. I have very few skills. I don't know why I'm talking so much shit about myself. All right, Translucent Man says, awesome city. You're right. A lot of fun. Yes. Love it. Oh, so it's in the Gulch. Six Deity says, can you try Plug and Play and compare it to Steezy? I can. I have. And it is coming. But you just have to be a little bit more patient. Maybe I should just bust it out early, right? I mean, there's so many people who want it early. I'm not going to promise anything, but maybe it's going to come sooner than I promised. Said it before. I can't promise anything, but, there's so many of you. Only thing I didn't like about Plug and Play was the size of the battery. Oh, so it is, yes, it is a little bit bigger than the Steezy or PAX. But, still pretty discreet compared to something like this. Nathan, what is up, my dude? How are you doing this evening? And where are you joining us in from? Hopefully somewhere where you can enjoy marijuana yourself. Oh, Translucent Man, I have another place for you. Knowing that you're in Long Beach, there's a place in North Long Beach that my wife has taken me to a couple of times that's fucking incredible. And it's a total hole in the wall. So, sometimes that's a good thing. Damn it, what is the name of it, though? It's some dude's name. It's like John Earl's Barbecue or something. It's in North Knoxville. If it pops out of my head or I can get in touch with my spouse, I'll let you know. But there is a great hole-in-the-wall barbecue place in North Long Beach that if you're willing to make the drive and maybe willing to get some takeout, is worth your business. 680s is from Santa Ana, right there in the Orange County, right there in the heart. Well, not the heart. Los Angeles is the real heart of the black market dispensaries, but you got a fair number of black market dispensaries there in Santa Ana as well. David Eldar says, yo. And 680 says, wife, what? I had mentioned her at the very beginning. Yes, I don't know. It has never really come up. I've been married for 6 years, so I have a spouse. Yeah, it's a deal. It's a real thing. Yes, I will, Translucent Man, if it comes to me. You know what? I'm going to do some research that you guys aren't even going to notice that I'm doing. Holy shit, guys. So, I'm going to, because, it's my live stream and I get to ramble and I'm high as fuck, I am going to tell you about a filmmaker that I guarantee you've never heard of, that you should watch some of his, well, there's not a lot to watch. And I've only watched half of his third movie, but I really quite love it. His name is S. Craig Ziegler. I think that's how you say his last name. Holy fucking shit. As long as you guys, as long as you can stand incredibly intense violence. I mean, it's not all the time, but the violence that are in these movies are just insane. So, backing up. 3 years ago, I saw on Amazon, I'd heard a few people talking about a movie called Bone Tomahawk. Popped up on Amazon Prime, and I heard it was this really interesting, cool, throwback Western horror blend. And I was like, that sounds pretty interesting. So I checked it out, and it is a complete super gem that does not get the accolades it deserves. As I said, it is a Western horror movie starring everybody's favorite Kurt fucking Russell. It is a pretty simple story. Some people get kidnapped by what are essentially cannibals that have lived in the American West, a tribe of cannibals that have lived there for centuries, and they are very, very, very brutal, these people. And it's about Kurt Russell and Jack from Lost and some other folks trying to rescue people that have been captured and taken hostage. It is so goddamn tense, so goddamn scary, and again, just totally missed by audiences at large. Wonderful. Again, the violence is almost sickening at points, and the politics of the movie, just like his other two, which I'll talk about here in a second, are actually really troublesome, I think, in a way. Like, here's a movie where he makes about Native Americans, and they are the definition of, pardon the use of the word, savage, and but it's not that black and white. So, incredible movie, Bone Tomahawk. Check it out if you're a fan of, I would say, more horror than Westerns. And his second movie came out last year, I believe. It's called Attack on Cell Block 16, a similarly never heard of movie with a similarly big lead actor doing something sort of unexpected. And that movie stars Vince Vaughn. Just like a Bone Tomahawk, it is unbelievably brutal. Just unbelievably brutal, but also just amazing filmmaking, so tense, so incredible. It'll change your mind about Vince Vaughn. You'll actually think he's a good actor again. And it has one of my favorite scenes from any movie of last year, where it is Vince Vaughn literally taking apart a car with his bare fucking hands. He beats the shit out of a car. Like, he's mad, he's upset at something, so he just starts wailing on a car, and he disassembles it with just his hands and his rage. It was pretty intense to watch. Great movie. Attack on Cell Block 16, I think is the name. And then just this week, finally rented his third movie, also starring Vince Vaughn, and a very problematic Mel fucking Gibson, called Dragged Across Concrete. Another very violent premise and title, and another very he makes super idiosyncratic movies. They feel like nothing else that people are making. They don't feel like they exist in, all three of them feel like they exist in sort of a shadow world. Like, they don't feel like they exist in our universe in some way. There's something so off about the worlds he's created. And that's especially true in this most recent one, Dragged Across Concrete, for a variety of reasons, which I won't get into. But, damn, again, super, super incredibly fucked up politics. It's about two police officers, one of them being awful man Mel Gibson, who get caught brutally beating somebody and then doing more terrible shit sort of because of that. And that's a weird story to tell, but it's not, even though there is some stuff about it that's like, what are you trying to say here, dude? it is more nuanced than that. And there, if you are again are a fan of, I don't even know what to call the genre of the other two movies. They sort of exist in their own little universes. And this is a guy that just, for some reason, has not in any way caught on with even the sort of film community, let alone the main public. But he gets big. I mean, like, he's Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson starring in a movie. He had Kurt Russell starring in a movie. But for just some reason, it just never really gets noticed. Although the movies review very well, all three of them. Check them all out. That's my rant on S. Craig Ziegler. And I don't know why I did it, but I just felt like telling you guys that's a dude to watch. Even though I am not sure that I'm so confused. Okay. Somebody give me a topic. I'm ready to riff. I'm ready to rant. First topic that comes out that somebody's going to type in the chat, I'm going to talk about. Whatever it is, I'm good to talk about it. You just, first person, chat's a little quiet, so this is your chance to hear me bullshit about anything. And if you don't want to, remain quiet and I'll bullshit about, what will I bullshit about? I'll bullshit. Oh, gender as a concept, says Translucent Man. And Translucent Man, what an interesting name, screen name for that question. Sort of see some parallels there. But yes, what do I think about gender as a concept? Yeah, gender is largely a cultural construct. There's biological sex, but gender is really a cultural thing, right? It's like, you're born with a sex organ, but that's not really the same thing as gender. I think for a long time those things were conflated. People thought of them as the same thing, but as time progresses and the more we understand sexuality and the human psyche and all kinds of different aspects of the human condition, it looks more like those two things are, can be radically decoupled, your biological sex and your gender. I know that offends a lot of people for whatever reason. I personally find it strange that offends people, like the idea that those two things could be different. I don't understand why that idea offends people even. But I mean, yeah. So gender as a concept, I think it's really probably pretty great for society that people who were for a long time scared to reveal who they really were or wanted to be now are free to explore sides of themselves that they may have had to keep hidden or repressed or just totally hide away forever. I think it's gonna how could it not be a good thing to let people be the way that they feel that they are? So I don't know, but not that these two things are correlated in any way. I mean, there are other reasons for this, and these things again are not correlated in any way. But our society is as miserable and sad and depressed and horrified and just as uncertain about the future as we've ever been, and that sucks. It sucks that we're at this time, this weird fucking time in history where the one criticism you could make of the sort of progressive agenda is, I guess, that it moved so fast and so quickly that the backlash may kill us all, right? I think that some people are so backwards and so set in their ways and are so offended by the thought of somebody being different in some ways that the thought of letting those people freely express who they are is so maddening to them that they are willing to burn the whole thing down. Like, it sucks. Like, it's weird. You're more free to be who you've ever been than any point in history, to express yourself, to feel like who you ever truly are. But at the same time, there is a rising level of hate for all kinds of different people, not just, people with different sexual orientations, but, people with different skin colors, whatever the case may be. So you've never been more, it's never been better and it's never been worse, because the people in power have, it's terrible. All right, we'll go to the next one. David Elder says, how much money you spend on weed per month, and do you grow your own? David, do I grow my own? No, I live in a condo. I own a condo. I know I could, make like a little clone and make some lights in here, but no, I don't. If I owned a house or had some more space, I would love to try it. But I don't, so I don't. And how much money do I spend on weed per month? Way too much. Probably $500+ somewhere in there. Unfortunately, Jesus Christ, that hurts. I mean, and on some months it can be, where I'm doing a lot of reviews, or especially cartridge reviews, it can be a lot more than that. But it is what it is. But yeah, so I have a pretty big weed budget. If I started at some point accepting stuff people, accepting stuff from people, which I don't. I don't accept anything at this point. My budget could go down, but I'm still always worried about bias, and even the perception of bias from your guys' end, and even the subconscious bias on my end. Like, I'm a human being, and I understand that if somebody sends me something, that there is going to be some part of my brain that's going to want to think like, well, that was nice of them. They gave this to you, and it'd be so mean to say something nasty about them. After they sent this to you, do you really want to trash somebody that said something nasty about you, or that somebody went trash a product when somebody took the time to send it to you? And so I don't, because I just don't want that conflict. But it makes it hard. I don't know. Jeff Core says, because we base things off male and female, back to our original conversation, or our earlier conversation. That is true. Mark says, what's up? And I say, what's up right back. And did Peep see the Bloom Dart yet? I have actually not run across it in any dispensaries, but it is now high on the list. It is so many people in the last week have messaged me or emailed me or tweeted at me to check out Bloom Dart, so it is right at the top. David Elder says, honestly, with all the great products now, it's hard not to splurge. I know what you're talking about, man. Translucent Man says, man of integrity. Well, thank you. And then Uncle Ruckus in with a racism is moral. Ruckus. I'd love to hear your argument, man. I can't say I would ever be able to follow, but you're free to pitch that argument. I won't tell you not to right here, but we'll have a debate. Mark says, I'll donate for you to try the Bloom Dart. Mark, that is super kind of you. I really appreciate you saying that. You don't have to donate, though, Mark. Again, I am not a person worthy of money. Like, don't send your money to me. There are people who deserve money. There are people who are doing cool shit. There's people who's, making art. There are people on YouTube who are, holding people to account. There are people on YouTube that are really making a difference. You know, if you got money to donate to somebody who matters or who, you know, who's really going to make a difference. I'm just a piece of shit. Wait, Uncle Ruckus said, I mean bias. You mean bias is moral? Not, did you mean bias instead of racism? It's quite the Freudian slip. Oh, that's right. Yes, Translucent Man. Yes, I forgot about the Boondocks. Man, that was what a show. And before its time, I think, really. I saw very little of the Boondocks, but the stuff I did see, enjoyed it. The DMV says, you're a super cool guy. Thanks for the reviews. Well, thanks, man. That DMV, I can tell you, you're a piece of shit and I never want to see you again. Not you, but that DMV. That DMV, I never want to go back. I hate you. I was there for like 6 hours. Why does it have to be that hard in Southern California? Oh my God, that DMV. Fuck you. Oh my God. It's, but you seem like a good guy, that DMV. But that DMV, I've had to go to like the DMV 3 times, I think, for various reasons since I've lived here in Southern California, and every single time it has been a waking nightmare. That's cliche. Everybody knows the DMV sucks, but you know. Who's excited for Stadia? I think, I'm not sure if I'm the only person in the world that's excited for Stadia. The buzz or the sort of reception it seemed to get from E3, at least from people, not necessarily critics, seemed to be pretty chilly. They seem to kind of botch the rollout or whatever. I still think Stadia is pretty exciting. I really, 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 really hope it works as advertised. By all accounts, it does. And if it does, man, if Stadia is the real deal, I don't know why there's any reason to believe that video games, 3 years from now won't be a completely different market than it is today. But, man. Translucent Man says, too many people in California. That's the problem. You guys got to stop moving here. You're telling me. But Translucent Man, you got to your state has to stop being so goddamn appealing. Like, there are opportunities here. There's a responsive government. There's a sense of purpose. There's a sense of like, like people care and people want to make leave the world a better place than they found it. Like, that people aren't just, I don't know. I totally understand that, especially here, Southern California is too goddamn crowded, and there don't need to be this many people here when the Midwest is just filled with empty spaces and cities that are lacking people, literally needing bodies. It would be great if there were reasons to move there, but there are not. It's people move to California because California is great, and California provides opportunities, and California provides hope in the way that so many other states don't. I mean, sure, is Ohio cheaper? Sure, is the cost of living better? Sure, can you buy a house for $70,000? Yes, and yes, but you're still living in Ohio. You're living in a place of despair. You're living in a place where people believe that the world is, on a downhill slope, and that Satan has corrupted us all and we're all doomed because of our sinful ways. Like, that shit does not exist, well, at least, you know, to such a degree out here. It's just better. And we have the best weed too, yes. And Mark says, would I visit Yosemite? You know I would, Mark. I cannot believe I haven't been down there just yet. I'll certainly be there soon, but yes, I would love. It is on the list of things to do in California. And first and last, welcome, man. And Mark, I am sorry. If you're from Ohio, I really apologize. I didn't mean to bash your state too much, but I mean, there's a reason all your C cities are shrinking, you know? Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus. There's a reason that the Midwest is there's a brain drain there. There's like all of the smart, young, talented people do not want to live in that whole middle and south section of the country. I mean, if you're like a talented fucking guy, like if you have something to give to the world, you know, and there are lots of those people. If you have that, if you can contribute, if you have that drive or that ambition, you are wasting yourself by living in those parts. There are not opportunities for you. Like, and it's their fault. It's they're rotting away because of stupid decisions that they have made and stupid. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I love you, middle of the country, and I love you, South. I mean, I'm from the South. I am from the South. And there are parts about it that I really do admire, and I love how nice everybody is and how cordial and friendly everybody is. But that whole area has deep, I mean, 2/3, I would say, of the United States has deep structural, baked in problems that need addressing and need, otherwise you're gonna keep having people moving to the West Coast and the Northeast, and those states. I mean, it is a vicious fucking cycle of, you know, the worse they get, the more likely people are to leave, which makes it even worse. First and Last lives in Missouri. I mean, I just heard that you guys closed your final abortion clinic. I mean, Missouri, there are cool fucking parts about Missouri. There are cool things in Missouri, but like, Jesus Christ, guys, come on. There's shit you need to get done. You need to understand what world you're living in. And it's not the citizens of those states, it's your goddamn governments. And it's bad. It's bad. Okay. Whew. All right. Well, Philip Baca says, you don't have South in the mouth. People tell me that all the time. I tell people I'm from East Tennessee. I wasn't born there. I moved there like literally 2 weeks before I started kindergarten. But people always say you have no accent. You don't have a single accent. You don't sound like you're from the South. People in the South definitely told me that. I don't know why. I don't know why I never developed the Southern accent. I always have just my shitty, dumb, high-pitched, whiny, incessant voice. Never had the drawl. I would like a nice Southern drawl, but don't have it. Okay, so, guys, I'm gonna drop something on you real quick. This is something I've been, this is, chat is disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. Have I been banned? Rut-row, spaghetti row. What is going on, YouTubes? Still unable to connect to that chat. Curious and curious. Okay. Let's try chatting a few more times. Chat. Hello. Thank you for sticking around if you're here. I am not sure what is going on. YouTube is telling me that it is unable to connect to chat. Maybe they knew that damn algorithm. Maybe that goddamn algorithm knew what I was about to tell you guys. And it's like, well, let's not go there because that shit's crazy. If chat's back, please somebody let me know. That'd be great. See, I'm gonna have to save it for times where there are chats so that you guys can properly chastise me for how crazy what I'm about to say is. But I'll just have to save it because was about to tell you guys about my new political party I'm starting. Next, 2024, I'll hit that 35 threshold and, start the revolution, baby. Fuck it. I guess maybe without chat, maybe this is the perfect time to actually go ahead and lay out my plan for you guys. Okay, I'm gonna fucking do it. Here we go. Screw it. I'm high. And when I'm really high, I'll say dumb shit. Here we go. So, here is my idea for a political party. Oh boy, I'm gonna need you guys to just stick with me and understand it's gonna get crazy. So, my political party that I'm going to start is gonna be called the Expulsionist Party. My idea is contra to the normal notion, which is, those dumb Southerners or those rebellious Texans are always like, we're going to secede. Those damn liberals in Washington are always regulating what shit we can do and say, and, we're going to get the hell out of here. So to them, I say, see ya, good riddance, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. So what does that mean? What am I talking about? Well, pretty simple, actually. My idea, the sort of starting of the framework of the Ejectionist Party is, I don't have the exact number yet. I haven't, figured out all the details here. But the crux would be is that immediately upon, our ascending to office, I would expel, I think, about somewhere between 5 to a dozen states from the union. I would just say, you're out, you're done, goodbye, see you later, sayonara, right? You're out. So why? Why? Well, it's really just a couple of states that fuck us all over. So these goddamn, states like Mississippi or Arkansas or whatever, they contribute nothing to the federal budget, but they soak up so many resources. They just take and contribute nothing back. And they're also our biggest problems when it comes to things like, they're the biggest agitators in on a government on the federal level as well. And it's crazy. So these states that agitate and then contribute nothing but take lots, I'd say you're gone. You're out of the union. You're done. It looks like chat is working. Okay, cool. Perfect. Great. David, I did know that, but MedMen is also coming to Oklahoma. So, anyways, back to the Expulsionist Party. While I'm talking. Jesus. All right, Expulsionist Party. Kicking out between 5 and a dozen states, based on data. If you're not contributing your fair share, and you contribute problems in other ways, you're gone. We're kicking you out of the union. You're done. But it is done in a very compassionate way. Here is the way it all works. So it's not just like you're saying to these people, you're cut off from the United States, you're no longer a citizen, and we don't want you. No, not at all. What we would do in the newly consolidated United States is anybody below a certain income threshold, you can we'll decide the number based on actual objective measures, will actually be paid a stipend and be given free board in a Midwest or other southern city that hasn't been ejected from the Union to live there for at least 2 years. They get, and we'll offer work training, all kinds of great things. So these cities like, Detroit or Cleveland or whatever that are shrinking, that are like need people, we would give them that injection of people, and we'd make sure those people have plenty of money to live, and we'll make sure that we're training them to get good new jobs in those areas, and we'll make sure we're investing in those cities as well on a federal level, to make sure that there's interesting things happening there for, new investment and all that good stuff. So if you're below an income threshold, you get to go, not only are you admitted to come into the United States, but we are actually going to pay you a stipend and give you great worker training to move to cities that need your bodies. Then what I would do next is I would, anybody, between a certain income level, well, whatever. Okay, I don't need to get that wonky. Well, what I would do next is anybody above that's a certain income threshold is not permitted to come into the United States. They are barred. They are initially they are not allowed to come into the United States. They've extracted enough wealth from the citizens of their state that they're already in. We don't need them. We don't want them. But, and here's the biggest, giantest, mostest buts, is that anybody is welcome to come back in the Union. The Waltons are welcome to join us back in fucking from Arkansas, back in the United States. We'll welcome with open arms. We'll be so happy to see them if they are willing to pledge to, if they're willing to have a wealth tax put on them. Because in this United States, there's no reason to need fucking, multi-billionaires. So if you're a billionaire, you are welcome to stay wherever you are, you were from before. Good. Stay there with all your money. I don't give a shit. I mean, I'm sure your money won't be worth as much in the, former United States, but you're welcome to do that. I'm not going to agitate. I'm not going to prevent anybody from doing that. Whatever. That's up to you. But then, if you're willing to say, being an American means so much to me that I am willing to give up my blood money, welcome back. Welcome back. So, that's how it would work. There'd be like a couple of year grace period. Also, I wouldn't give a shit about illegal immigration. Who gives a shit? Because really the only people who are going to be immigrating legally are probably, people who are poor, and we are going to welcome those people anyways because we want to give them an opportunity at a better life. And those, again, who are insanely wealthy and have, made their blood money, they can come back too. They just have to put their money where their mouth is and say, I am willing to sacrifice something to be an American like everybody else. So that's what I would do. I mean, of course, there would be bigger things. Every state that was kicked out would have a way to get readmitted back into the Union. If they, we'd have some kind of checklist. They'd have to, meet these certain measurements along the way. Do that. You're welcome back in. Good to go. We love you. Of course, there'd be other things like, a little small thing like the shredding of the Constitution and just starting over, the abolishment of the Senate, retroactive justice on things like torture on the Iraq War and the financial collapse. And those are other parts of the expulsionist platform. But the biggest thing is kicking out the states that make our country worse and letting the people from those states come and find better opportunities elsewhere. That's our platform. So there we go. You guys now are privy to the expulsionist party. That's the idea. It'll never happen, but it's fun to think about. Man, it's really fun to think about never having to worry about Mississippi again. Man, wouldn't that be great? Just like never having to consider Mississippi. It's just gone. Like Alabama, no more Alabama. Man, Alabama's the state that almost elected a child sex predator to the Senate, and then is encouraging that same child sex predator to run again. Why do we need that state? Why do we need them when they take billions more in federal dollars than they give, and they treat their residents like utter garbage? You're done. You're gone. You're off. You're done. You're out. We don't need you. We love your people, and we want your people to come into the United States, and we want them to have a better opportunity elsewhere. We just don't want them living in that Alabama anymore. And I'm sorry, because I know it's their home, and a lot of people have lived there for generations, but something has to be done. And drastic measures have to be taken. All right. Woo! That was a good rant. Ooh. Okay. David Elder says, people in the South are huge marijuana consumers, though. Of course they are, David. But they don't have an opportunity to exercise that ability legally. So you know what? Let them come to states that embrace, contemporary notions of being able to do what you want to do with your own body. It's so hard. Like, it's not just, obstinance that keeps people in where they were born. It's not just, it's where I was born, I'm going to die here. It's not that. It's hard to move, especially if you're not, skilled in super specific ways. How the fuck, if you live in buttfuck Alabama, working at goddamn Waffle House for minimum wage, and I am not judging that person. Let me make that explicitly clear. I value that person very much that works that minimum wage job at Waffle House. I am sad for that person. I'm not sad for them for what they do. What they do is a service, and it should be respected. I'm sad for them for the way that we treat that person. That person deserves a better chance. Sure, I don't give a shit if serving at Waffle House is what they want to do, but they deserve a chance to have that be it. Like, right, that they work 40 hours at Waffle House and they can live a decent enough life, that they don't have to worry about all kinds of stupid petty shit. And if we get them out of those states, if we offer them resources to go somewhere better, they will have other opportunities. They can elevate themselves. They can enrich themselves. They will have better lives. I mean, I don't know. I have very strong feelings about these things. I think we treat poor people so fucking disgustingly. And yes, as you were saying, David, they are huge weed consumers, but they live in states that treat them like criminals for doing so. So let's let them go to states that's gonna, let them do it without being criminals, and we can get some tax dollars in as well, right? Like, everybody benefits. That's exactly why I have this expulsionist party, is for reasons precisely like people in the South love smoking weed. Of course they do. Who doesn't? But the South doesn't like them smoking weed. All right. Translucent Man says, Manny wants to get as high as me. Yes, when I get very high, I tend to ramble. I tend to let out bigger ideas. I love ideas, guys. Let me just let you know, ideas are my favorite thing in the world. I love talking about ideas. I love working with ideas. I love thinking about things. I love reading books about people that aren't afraid to just make bold claims and really think about things in new ways. That's my jam, dude. And especially if I'm high. Boy. Okay, where am I at now? Alex Rossier says, would you build a wall? No, I would not. That is a great question, Alex Rossier. I think that's how I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Of course not. There's no reason for a wall. I don't give a shit if there's illegal immigration from Louisiana into Texas. Why would I care? Why would I care if somebody, I still consider to be an American, wants to make a better life for themselves in a state that has the opportunity for them to do so? Great. The only illegal immigration I would really care about is super rich people trying to move back into the United States without, paying their fair share. And of course, there would be ways to catch those people. The banking system is set up to catch exactly that kind of shit. So the consolidated United States does not, our policy is we give no fucks about illegal immigration from the former United States. None whatsoever. Translucent Man says, Wheats would build a giant bong for immigrants instead. Hell yes, dude. Hell yeah, big, giant bong for all of our friends from everywhere. Because, guys, the U.S. ain't full. As I was just saying, the U.S. is far from full. But whatever. Always Be You says, I am that person. What person is that? That poor person? If so, if you're the Waffle House server, man, massive props to you. Always Be You. I hope somebody is paying you a decent wage. I hope somebody's treating you with dignity. But if you don't have those skills, if you're not in that certain profession, chances are you're not being treated with dignity and respect. Philip Baca, Poor Lives Matter and walls are built to keep us in. That is an interesting perspective. Yeah, the big, giant, beautiful border wall at the south will serve just as much to prevent you from fleeing Mexico as preventing people from south of the border coming through. And at some point, that might very well be a concern. So, yeah, consider that as well. Always Be with you. Always Be You says, I'm stoned, so it's all good. I am stoned right there with you, and it is all good. Okay. Translucent Man says, Wheats, you ever been to Mexico? I have not ever actually been south of the border. Kind of shameful of me. I've been to Canada when I was extremely young, but never to Mexico. I'd love to go. My wife's been a couple times for work, but I have never done it. I would love to, go see some cool shit. You just go south of San Diego, and the border patrol does scare me, to be honest. I've heard too many horror stories of people being held up for 6 hours just waiting in a damn line, to get through customs and shit. Never. There's nothing worth it to me for waiting in a car for 6 hours in a desert. I know, Translucent Man, it's shameful, as I said. It is shameful. I live in granted, I haven't been here forever, as you know, but I also have yet to go to Disneyland. It's also shameful. I've kind of not done as much of the SoCal-y shit, touristy shit, as you're supposed to do. I just... I live at the dog beach. I've got 3 dogs, live at the dog beach, see the ocean all the fucking time. It's beautiful where I live. I go hiking a fair amount around places, but the really big touristy stuff, I haven't done so often. So I've done most of the art museums here. The thing I've done the most is the planetarium. No, what do they call it? The fucking place, the observatory, Griffith Observatory. I've done Griffith Observatory like 4 times. Love Griffith Observatory. As a matter of fact, cherry on top, surprise cherry on top right here, right now, just for you guys. Cherry on top. If you guys have never been to the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, go. If you've never been to the Griffith Observatory and seen one of their planetarium shows, especially one of the ones about, more about space and less about sort of more local issues. There's a great one about celestial navigation, basically. If you haven't done that in their big planetarium on their comfy ass lean back chairs in that beautiful dome theater, god damn, is doing that high, very high. It's a top 10 experience for me. I've done it like 3 or 4 times. Shit, yes. Oh, planetarium, Griffith Observatory, watching a 40-minute show in that theater with that beautiful dome screen overhead. It is transformative. It's packed and it's touristy as shit, and you're going to be competing with all their, fancy tourists with their fancy DSLRs and all that shit. But it really, truly is worth it. I cannot recommend it enough. All right. Philip Baca says, I would drive to Juarez. I think that's what. Now you need a passport and must leave a credit card. Yes, it sucks that you need a passport now for Mexico and Canada. Why? Why did we do that? Why? I don't understand. Well, do I understand why it was done? Yes. Do I agree why it was done? Hell fucking no. Tried a Flourish cartridge. It was lit, says Mexican Lollify. I need to try a Flourish cartridge because I love their gummies. Love those guys over at Flourish. And thank you for the $1, man. I really appreciate it. That's so fucking kind of you. Again, nobody feel the need to ever donate. Like, I always encourage you to donate to a better human being than me. I'm a bad person who does not deserve your money. But thank you. I'm not trying to look that gift horse in the mouth or spit in that eye. I truly appreciate it. But again, I always just encourage, like, I'm a shitbag. I'm a shitbag, not a good person. Let other people, reap the benefits. I will keep up those reviews, Mr. Mexican Lollify. And thank you again for that donation. Philip Baca says, stars in a dome, just like reality, the firmament. Just like reality, yes. I mean, if I looked up at, without all the light pollution, for sure. But yes, Griffith Observatory, hi, do it. Oh, here, I got a treat for you guys. I'm just going to hit this button. Let's see if this works. It should work. I spent a lot of time making this work. There it goes. Just enjoy.
Get out of here, Dewey.
What are y'all doing in here?
We're smoking reefer. And you don't want no part of this shit.
You're smoking
I'm
reefers?
just gonna
Yeah, of course we are. Can't you
sit here
smell
and
it?
finish
No,
this off
Sam.
while
I
this clip's
can't.
playing.
Come on, Dewey. Join the party.
No, Dewey. You don't want this. Get out of here.
You know what? I don't want no hangover. I can't get no hangover.
It doesn't give you a hangover.
I'll get addicted to it or something?
It's not habit forming.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Not
I
yet,
don't
Louis.
want to overdose on it.
You can't
I need somebody
OD on it.
Give me some extra
It's
details,
not going to make
man.
me want to have sex, is it?
It makes
Always
sex even better.
Email me, wheats@wheatsreviews.com.
Sounds kind of
Wheats-
expensive.
It's the cheapest drug there is.
At Gmail, wheatsreviews@gmail.com.
You don't want
That's
it.
the other one, wheats@wheatsreviews.com.
I think I kind of want it.
Okay, but just this
Translucent
one. Come
Man
on in.
says, God, that's my favorite comedy of all time. Translucent Man, oh my God, you are my brother. Those that know me know that I am a literal proselytizer for Walk Hard. It is probably it is one of my top 5 favorite comedies, in my top 10 favorite movies. Okay, never mind. John C. Reilly's performance in Walk Hard is one of the 5 greatest male acting performances ever, in my opinion. Up there with Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or Jake Gyllenhaal in Prisoners, John C. Reilly up there, or Michael B. Jordan in Fruitvale Station. You know, it's on that level, and it's just not recognized because it's a comedy. But what John C. Reilly does in Walk Hard, his transformation into Dewey Cox is truly one of the most remarkable performances ever. The fact that movie flopped and is only a mild cult classic is a goddamn travesty. It has some of the funniest sequences. It has the greatest parody songs written of all time. It has a brilliant soundtrack. I listen to the parody Walk Hard soundtrack pretty frequently because it's great. Like, it's legitimately enjoyable to listen to. Like, the song Walk Hard is a legitimately great song. The song Beautiful Ride, the song at the end, is incredible. They're funny as fuck, but they're also great songs. And of course, my love, Let's Duet is the greatest parody song of all time. How somebody has never put those two things together before, Let's Duet, I don't know. Damn, Walk Hard, guys. It's not just good for the pot scene. It's great start to finish. If you've never seen Walk Hard, get that shit on, buy it digitally, you know? Have that in your permanent collection. Oh, Louie, where's the sesh at? You can, I don't mind if you say it here in chat, or you can email me. Speak English, Doc. We ain't scientists. What I'm trying to say here is we weren't able to attach his top half to his bottom half. God damn it. Speak English. We ain't scientists. Dewey, run and get Pa. I'm cut in half pretty bad here. Oh, I'm cut in half pretty bad here. One of my favorite lines of all time. My favorite line, though, is probably, what about if we're famous? In response to him getting caught, getting married to a woman while he was already married, and then having sex with that woman while his first wife walks in. And his excuse for getting married twice is, it's okay because he's famous. Walk Hard. Watch it. Seriously, it's, you guys could just, I would not be offended if you just said, I'm tuning out right now. I'm going to go watch Walk Hard. In terms of, wrong kid died. The wrong kid died. Oh my fucking God, Translucent Man. My wife and I we saw Rocket Man, like, 2 weeks ago or whatever. We have AMC Movie Pass, so we see everything. There's nothing we don't see. And Rocket Man, it's whatever. But it is the parody, the satire in Walk Hard can be grafted 1-to-1 to Rocket Man. There's literally a father who, in Rocket Man, instead of like the wrong kid died, it's like, I don't want to spoil it, but there is a scene with him telling his son how much he loves his other kids more than him. You could just like make a supercut and transpose Walk Hard over Rocket Man, and it would be the same movie. It's pretty remarkable. It just shows you how formulaic those things are. Okay. Jeremy Dooham says, how do you keep your tolerance down with edibles? Try not to do them every day. Try to do them less frequently than every day is really the best bet. I find I don't need to go on a lot of super tolerance breaks with no THC, but if I stop taking edibles for like 2 or 3 days, that does a pretty good job of lowering my edible tolerance, like the high quantity THC tolerance. So usually 2 or 3 days off edibles. It's not it's not back to zero. It's actually not even close. But you know, it certainly lowers your tolerance even 2 or 3 days off, and it does the trick for me. Philip Baca says, why isn't hash available? I'm not sure where. Welcome back, first and last. And yes, also Translit Man, you can take the house, but don't you dare take my monkey, is also one of the best lines. His giraffe is amazing when he's eating at the kitchen table. Love it, love it, love it. I'm going to go off about one more comedy thing before I move over to another topic. Veep. Veep, Veep, Veep. Veep, 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 Veep. It's over. It's done. It's gone. It's sad that it went off into the good night. Do not listen to anybody that said the final 2 seasons weren't as good. The final season of Veep was truly spectacular. I've never laughed. I mean, some of the hardest I've ever laughed in my entire life. Veep has, sorry, Arrested Development, the greatest, most incredible ensemble cast ever in anything. The truly funniest assemblage of people that has ever been put together in a room is the cast of Veep. And they continued the amazing tradition. So, like, you know, when a show introduces, like, a new character later on in the series, it's usually, like, a dumb thing. Like, think back to, like, The Office when they introduced, like, whoever James Spader played or whatever. It's dumb. Nobody likes that shit. Veep always somehow dodged that. It continued to add characters to its roster every year, and every time the new character would come on and would steal the show. Like Richard, for example. God damn it, why can't I not think of his name off the top of my head? The African-American dude in the show. One of the funniest performances ever in the history of anything. He's so fucking incredible in that show. And his character, the character arcs in the last season of Veep are so brilliant. Where these characters, these miserable, awful sons of bitches we've been following for the better part of a decade now, where they all end up by the time this whole tragic political arc of good old Selena Meyer ends it's just so brilliant. But so Veep continues that successful tradition with the introduction of my favorite character on Veep, Jonah Ryan, the jolly green jizz giant. He's amazing. Jonah Ryan, he's just a character on the show. But they introduced his wife in the last season. He's running for Congress. He's a dumbass. He's just a big, literal, stupid dumbass. And in the last season, he gets a wife, and she steals every fucking scene she's in. And it's so amazing. She is Jonah's half-sister. Excuse me, not half-sister, stepsister, ex-stepsister. Their parents were married when they were kids. And later in the series, to spoil things, those parents remarry, making them step-siblings again after they're married. I'm spoiling shit and rambling, but god damn it, guys, watch Veep. Holy shit. I just can't believe Veep never sort of became The Office or Arrested Development or Parks and Recreation. I mean, I guess it's more cynical than those shows. It's definitely more cynical than those, and it's meaner spirited than Parks and Rec by a mile. I mean, but you know, it's funnier than all of them. Veep. All right, so I've talked about comedies. I've talked about the Expulsionist Party. I've talked about gender as a concept, or as a construct, excuse me. I need a last topic. I need a new one. Somebody, first comment in chat. I'm just going to riff. I will ignore the Philip Baca comment because I don't think it came in before my offer, and I'm not sure that's what I want to talk about. Translucent Man. Veep is on. I am sorry. It's on HBO. It was on HBO. It just wrapped up. It's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. It's fucking Elaine. It's Elaine Bennis. You know, the greatest comedic actress ever. In her. Selena Meyer is a better character than Elaine Bennis, and I'm gonna make some people mad saying that, but it's true. Yes, she is. She is a national fucking treasure. National treasure. Ah, love her, love her. And again, performance in Veep. Oh. Okay, I gotta avoid that minefield. That's not a healthy topic of conversation. And I realize what an asshole I'm being by putting in these stipulations after the fact. Come on guys, give me a topic that won't rile people. She did make Seinfeld. She was on Seinfeld. She was a Saturday Night Live alum. She's super fucking rich without even needing Seinfeld or Veep money. She's independently wealthy. But she's just amazing in every regard. Translucent Man, there we go. Discuss what music I've been listening to lately. So, I love art in every format. Translucent Man. I'm a man who loves art. I don't really know between film, novels, and video games. Actually, I think video games are wonderful. I love them more than I should. I love them for different reasons, I think, than most people. But I don't know which one of those is the most. Music is the one that gets the short shrift from me. I'm one of those, like, you know, I don't know music, but I know what I like. I have my taste. I have the music I enjoy. But I'm not really out looking for new stuff. I don't, especially, I used to be a little bit more adventurous with music than I am now. You know, when I was younger, in my 20s and shit, I would go see a bunch of shows and listen to new things that people recommended me. But it sucks because I never wanted to be that person. I've sort of calcified. And that's all just, you know, as an aside. I'm not a huge music person. I love the music I love, but I don't have a huge sort of range of knowledge or expertise. But lately, I've been listening to pretty much just two albums. The new album by The National, whatever it's called. So you think... No, I can't remember what it's called. It's incredible. Been a National fan since 2009. And I think this is their best album since... Boxer, probably. This is my favorite. And it's the most controversial one. I know there's some people who don't like it, but I think it's their best album since their, like, you know, third album or whatever. If you don't know The National, you don't know what I'm talking about. The National is my kind of music. I love sad bastard, melancholy, you know, makes you want to slit your wrist kind of music. So I've been listening to a shit ton of The National. And the other album I have been listening to a ton of is Better Oblivion Community Center, which, boy, that sounds pretty depressing right from the title. It is a super group consisting of Connor Oberst of Bright Eyes, and my heart flutters, my crush, my crush, my absolute, you know, I'm totally infatuated with her, Phoebe Bridgers. Holy shit, Phoebe Bridgers. The most recent sort of addition to top 5 artists for me. I discovered her last year, and she just came out with a new album with Connor Oberst, and it's incredible. Love it. Better Oblivion Community Center. It's self-titled, so Look it up. It's also sad bastard music, but it's a little less straightforwardly sad. And then my favorite artists, generally, my top 5 favorite artists. Here we go. I'll just give you top 5. Number 1 and number 2. I never thought it would come to this, but it is a tie. Number 1, number 2 tie between the Shins and Jason Isbell. Those are my 2 favorites. Number 3 would be The National. Number 4 would be Phoebe Bridgers. And number 5 would be The Mountain Goats. So there you go. What? No, dude. You don't. No, man. I don't. Oh, dude. You don't. Hey, man. You don't have to give that money, Translucent Man. Seriously, like, I don't know if it's possible to take it back, but like, dude, seriously, it makes me, I have this weird thing. I seriously do. I'm not kidding you. I hate getting money. I hate getting paid. I don't like taking money from people. I feel gross. It makes me feel gross. Okay, man. I'm not gonna look. Thank you so much, dude. That is incredibly kind and generous of you. If there's some way to take it back later, and you decide you want that $50, go for it. I promise you, I won't hold it against you. But if you don't, man, you know, that is super awesome of you. Really, that's great. And I'll use that money for, you know, new reviews. And man, that is super cool. Thank you, dude. Wow. Hi, Kenyon. I know it's just it's hard for me. I grew up. I was raised. How to say this? How to phrase this? I was taught from a very early age that what I do has no value, and I should not trying to think. I have this. Never mind. Thank you. Well, thank you. Yes, Kenyon, and that's true. And my day job is boring. And my throat. Whew. Man, I have been yammering. I was born with the golden roll in my heart. I don't know if that's true. That's the do unto others. That's a pretty good Jesus-y rule, right? Like, I have a lot of problems. You know, some of those 10 commandments, pretty good, right? Like, don't murder, don't kill, don't well, those are redundant. Don't murder, don't steal. You know, that makes sense. Some of them, you know, don't worship false idols. I have a little bit of problems with. Or, you know, honor thy mother and father. I think that's a terrible piece of advice. I don't think anybody should a priori respect their mother and father. There are a lot of bad ones out there. But so, you know, the 10 Commandments, I can take it or leave it. But the golden rule, if that's what you're referring to, like the do unto others as you'd have them do unto you, that's pretty fucking good. Like, I'd take that one from the Bible. That's Jesus was on to something with that one, I think. Kenyon Levon says, how are you getting stoned? Title is misleading. I've been doing my little dab pen here, and I'm still super high from my tablets, Kenyon, that I've been enjoying. I came in, I had done 6 beforehand, 6 tablets, which I think each of my tablets, I don't know, I think these are about 40 each, so it's about 240 milligrams, but I obviously don't know for sure, and in making, so one of the things that I've come to discover while making these capsules is just how difficult it really is to determine exactly to any reasonable degree, really, how much THC is actually in whatever you're, creating, it's very hard. Like, you don't, especially for an edible, like, it's very hard to test something for THC after the fact, especially if it's not just flower where they can just do like a spectral analysis on it. Like, and because shit's not distributed evenly, it's not like you can just take like a quarter of a brownie and say for sure that that's, this or that, and it's too difficult to test. And then in the process, you lose some THC from THCA to THC when you decarb, and then you lose some again from when you have your decarbed flower to whatever you infuse with, whether it's, coconut oil or butter or whatever the case may be. So those numbers on products are usually going to be it's going to be a guess. Nobody knows, they don't know when something says 100 milligrams, even in the state of California, where it's supposed to be 100 milligrams, I don't know what I don't actually know what the sort of degree of error is. My guess is it might be as high as 20%, or maybe even higher. Like, but that's just a guess. But it seems from the research I've done that that's very possible, that it could be, whatever the THC listed in something is, can be plus or minus 20%, depending on how, the decarb process went, how the infusion process went, all that stuff. So always take those things with a grain of salt. Oh, nice. Oh, Kenyon, the pay it forward model. Yes, I love the pay it forward model. I think it's great. I think it's great when people do like I think I heard there was like a Starbucks somewhere, like a Starbucks drive-through that had like a chain of, I could be making this up, but I swear I heard this. There was like a Starbucks somewhere in the country that had like a chain of almost 30 or something. People just constantly paying it forward for the next person, and the next person, and the next person. And I love that shit. Just people being nice to people. God damn, I love people being nice to people. I love people treating people with dignity and kindness. Man, that shit makes me hard, dog. Ooh, I'm sorry I said that. That's gross. But it does sexually arouse me. No, it doesn't. But it does make me feel good in a non-sexual way. So I'll just stop there. But yes, be good to people, man. Just be good. Be kind. Don't be a shit. Don't be like MedMen. Don't be like Puffy Delivery. Don't lie to people. Don't mislead people. Don't trick people. Don't defraud people. Be honest with them. Tell them the truth. I don't know. Philip, I couldn't agree more. I would say that John, I would much rather John Bolton. I'm not saying anybody should do this or anything like this, but I would be thrilled if John Bolton ate, instead of a brownie laced with pot, it would be much better for the world if John Bolton decided to eat a brownie laced with cyanide. That's what I would like. If John Bolton just decided like, oh man, I'm really craving a cyanide brownie right now. Let me bake up a batch and gorge. That would be great. I mean, sure, if John Bolton took a pot brownie, that's better than nothing. But I gotta say, I'd love it if that man just took that cyanide brownie. I don't know if that's a product. I don't know if anybody's ever made cyanide brownies before, but maybe he can be the first. That's probably. I'm getting myself in trouble today, man. I'm getting myself in trouble. Always Be You says, the first time I bought a legit. Who is calling me? 865-507-2931. I have a feeling this might be a scam call. Would you guys like to... You guys want to do this in person? Let's see what happens. If it's insurance, I might have to hang up. Yeah. Damn it, they hung up on me. Motherfucker. For years, I fucked with the robocaller people. I would keep them on the line as long as I could, and then just I would get the scam ones all the time. That would be like, oh, we're from Visa and we're here to lower your credit card rate. Just give us your credit card number and expiration date, and we'll lower your rate. And it was my greatest joy in the world to just keep that person on the phone as long as possible, and be sort of as make them think that they were going to get an easy mark, but also wasting their time. My joy. And I know it's so juvenile, and I didn't even change the script ever. I just liked it so much the first time I just stuck with it. My thing was, and why I bring it up is, I know the telemarketers just hang up on me at this point. I can't ever get them on the line. It's so weird. The robocalls, I answer and they just hang up. I don't know if it's just because I'm on some kind of list of like, this guy's just an asshole or whatever. But what I used to do is like, that would be the one I'd get the most often, right? Is give us your credit card number. So I just make up the first 12 digits of the credit card number. I'd start with the normal like Visa 45 and then just start making up some digits. And then I'd get to the last four and I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry guys, it's a little smudged here. Let me just take a look. And then I'm like, oh, I cleared it up in the last four digits. And I go, oh, that's weird. The last four digits says that I'm gonna fuck your mother in hell. That's weird. I didn't know credit card numbers had words on them. And then these people would get so fucking pissed because, they can say whatever they want. They're not really working for a real company or whatever. Man, I would get so many threats on my life from these people. People really, really, really are offended by the idea of their mother getting fucked in hell. I don't know why. But that was my go-to for years. But now they don't even, I can't get them on the phone to fuck with them anymore, so who knows? All right, Philip says, haha, in a perfect world, the black don't go back, the brown can stick around the yellow, may mellow, the white will see the light, and the red man will be the head man. Wow, that is an interesting rhyme. Yes, but in a perfect world, man. Actually, my perfect world is nobody ever says that they're black. Nobody ever says that they're white. Nobody ever says that they're Asian. Nobody ever says that they're gay. Nobody ever says that they're straight. Nobody ever says that they're, mixed race. Nobody says this. Nobody says that. Because nobody gives a shit. That's what I want. I understand why people like to put themselves into categories, but I think it's bad, even when those, I think it's bad even when, unfortunately, I just want to be in a world where nobody gives a shit what somebody is. And that person doesn't need to feel to define themselves as a X something, no, you're just a human being. I don't give a shit what comes before it, and I don't think anybody else should. You're just a human being, and I care about you a priori because you're a human being, right? That's what I want. I really don't want a world where, that'll never happen, but yeah, I just prefer it where nobody labeled themselves as anything because nobody cares, because you're just afforded the respect you're supposed to get because you're a human being. Whew. Extreme says, I think that's Extreme in Elite. Can you give a shout out to my wife, Marta? We love your show. Of course I can give a shout out to Marta. Hey, Marta, how are you doing? Marta, I was thinking of something to say, but now I'm very high. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being a fan. That's so kind, man. Always Be You says, people are people. Hell yes, they are. Mexican Lullaby says, I'm always at Cherry Beach by Bixby Park in Long Beach. Mexican Lullaby, right there. I was walking all three of my dogs through that very park not 7 hours ago. I literally walk my dogs through Bixby Park every day. As a matter of fact, you may have seen me if you live in that area. I'm the jackass who wears a big old nerdy belt, has dogs strapped to a belt, and that big dumb Great Dane. That's me. Lived in that area. Grovel, a little, yes, you're precisely 2 hours late to the party. Sorry, man, I wish you were here. But well, next time I'll be sure to, I didn't know if I was going to stream for sure afterwards or not. I didn't know if I was going to be here, but I was, so I decided to do it. So, sorry I didn't give any advance notice, my man. Next time, I will try to post in advance. Unfortunately, the only color that matters is green. I understand what you mean. Color of cash money, and also the color of greed. Greed, greed, greed. Unfortunately. Have I tried rock gardens yet? Not yet, Kelly Stones, but it is on the list. A lot of people have been suggesting raw gardens. I do have a list. I have an actual list of, you know, things that people recommend, and raw gardens is on there, up there with plug and play and, West Coast Cure, and they're like 5 or 6 big, Bloom Dart carts. That's one that just in this past week, man, whew. Mexican Lullaby says, in case you ever want to get high, my girlfriend's studio is like 2 blocks from the Bluff. Of course, man. Send me an email, wheats@wheatsreviews.com. Totally down to hang out for a sesh someday. I have no problems. Should not say this, but I have totally invited strangers that I met online to come hang out at my place, and it has always been a blast. I don't mind. I'm pretty cool with that shit. I'm not cool, but like I have no problems with that shit. I think it's neat. Love it. So yeah, hit me up on Twitter or Wheats Reviews on Twitter, or email me wheats@wheatsreviews, Mexican Law Fine. Yeah, maybe we can work something out. Gravel says, you play my friend Pedro yet? I have not. I actually just heard about it today, and I'm only vaguely aware of what it is. But I know it's the new thing, but I don't actually know, I'm not 100% sure what it is yet. I think I saw a banana? Is that my friend Pedro? Does that have anything to do with a banana? Philip Baca says, have you ever seen a ghost or anything paranormal? I have not seen a ghost or anything paranormal. I'm pretty low. I'm not a big believer in the paranormal. You know, I don't have, unfortunately, I'm pretty much, worm food kind of guy. Like, yeah, oh boy, how much time? Okay. Fuck it. Mexican Lullaby says he's always vaping plug and play or spliffing the moon rock clear. Awesome, man. Yeah, that'd be fun, dude. Let's make it happen. So Gravel, I will look into Pedro because I'm always looking for new, goofy, fun games, especially low stakes ones. If you could leave, well, I'll look it up. You don't have to type it out. I'll check it out after the stream. All right. So I'm gonna give you one last rant, and it's gonna be, I'm gonna refill here. Fuck. Guys, I told you I laid out my political party earlier. Fuck. But I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to give you my last thing before my voice completely gives out on me. I'm going to tell you my whole goddamn real true philosophy on life. I'm just going to do it. Who gives a shit? Here we go. So, philosophy on life. If you want the Cliff Notes version, everybody should read the amazing, truly incredible, some of the best writing I have read in years, short story collection, sci-fi short story collection called Exhalation by Ted Chiang, the guy who wrote the story that went on to become Arrival. The guy is filled with stories that are both as profound and headfuckery as Arrival. My favorite story in the collection, and one of my favorite pieces of writing literally ever, is a 3-pager called I can't even remember what it's called, but I'll look it up. And it is about free will. So here we go. Fuck it. Here's my real philosophy on life, guys. Here's the way everything works. Let's just be honest. Let's be real. Let's just come out and say it, guys. There is truly no such thing as free will. We all need to accept it. We all are gonna have to come to grips with it, but not really, because we can't, because if you come to grips with it, you'll paralyze yourself, because what matters? But there is no such thing as free will. From any way we perceive, from any way that we understand the universe, from physics to biology to psychology to neurology, free will, it does not exist in every way we know it. So let's start with physics, right? You can take the classical model, which is not, of course, the way that the universe actually works, but we'll say this for now. Like, let's say you do have just a classical view, like by classical I mean Newtonian view of the way physics works, right? Is that the universe is a billiard table, right? Is that when the universe started, it was somebody hitting a cue ball, and every particle has bounced off every particle, and every particle is just, I mean, classical physics is determinism, which is the lack of free will. It's just everything is a consequence of everything that's already happened. The determinism in the classical Newtonian sense just says that shit, like, you know, really, if there was a instigating instance that propagated the universe, well, every particle is just doing what it was always going to do from that point forward, and, you know, there was no choice ever in anything. It's just, that's the way those particles clumped together, and, you know, they eventually clumped together into me, and those particles in my brain, those, you know, electrons and potassium ions are sending around information that I'm not having any choice in saying. It's just a consequence of that cue ball being struck at the very beginning of time, right? That's the classical view. That's not true. We know that's not the way physics works, because we know that there's the quantum world, the smaller scale world, the subatomic world. And in that world, right, we know the way the universe works is that the universe is random, is that everything is a collapsed wave function, right? It's like every single thing is just a consequence of a wave function collapsing. Now, I know what you're saying. It's like, well, if it's random, how can that be deterministic? Like, how can we know? Well, you know, how can you say that there's no free will if things are random? Well, two things. One, randomness does not preclude free will, not in any way, shape, or form. Things can be totally random and still have no free will. But furthermore, yes, it's random, but that doesn't mean that not every possibility happens. According to the best explanations that we know of about how the wave function collapses, is simply that every single possibility of the way it does collapse does happen, but you just observe this one particular way that it collapsed. But all those other ways that it could have collapsed did happen, but you just happen to be in this branch and observe this one particular way. And it was always, you know, it didn't matter. Like, that waveform was always going to collapse, and that waveform was always going to collapse in such a way, and, you know, you had no choice in how that waveform was going to collapse, and that, you know, whatever it may be, whatever observation may be made, whatever, fucking helium atom falling into a black hole or not falling into a black hole, all those things are you know, determined by sort of quantum fluctuations and randomness, but also not really, because as far as we know, all those things do happen, but we just are in the place that we observe one of them. So again, there's no choice, no decision in any of that. All right, so that's pretty out there, I know. I mean, that's, yeah, you have to like physics for that to be any relevance. But let's talk about like psychology, right? And I actually think it's more tangible for people to grasp the psychological stuff and why it's scarier. The physics stuff just seems, it's so abstract and so weird and so theoretical. I can understand why people sort of ignore it writ large. But from a psychological side, the shit is pretty damning. We can put our bodies, our brains in some, fMRI, and many now studies have demonstrated that your brain, so like let's say a researcher, I did something as generic as ask you a question. The studies are more complicated than this and they're more involved in this, but I'm just dumbing it down for simplicity's sake. The researcher, there is a way that researchers can image the brain and see what that response is formulated inside the brain before the person is consciously aware of it themselves. And then a researcher can then actually tell that person, like, you're going to pick this, or you're going to hit this button, or you're going to make this decision before the person knows that they're going to do it themselves. And as far as we can surmise, what these studies tell us is that your brain makes decisions without any conscious function, anything we would associate as conscious function, any deliberation on your part. It doesn't. It just makes that decision automatically based on biochemical algorithms that run your brain. Like the biochemical algorithms that run your brain make that decision. And what we perceive as consciousness is literally just your mind backfilling why it made that decision. It's your mind rationalizing itself, like saying, okay, you made this decision because, but you perceive it as, okay, I'm going to make this decision because, but you actually had no bearing on it. Your brain decided well before you had any idea consciously that you were going to do it. I mean, what do you make of that? How do you make of that other than there is no such thing as free will? So what does that mean? What does it mean if there's no free will? Well, really, it means there should be no such thing as punishment. There really should be no such thing as consequences because nobody's responsible for their actions. And we'd have to radically reorient society because, it's not fair to punish people because they didn't choose to do the bad actions. But you can't actually live in that society because it would crumble. And it is very difficult to live with that sort of mindset. But it's true. I mean, come on, guys. Let's just all admit it. No such thing as consciousness. Come on. It doesn't exist. Everything, this conversation that we are having right now, or I guess this conversation I am having at you right now, was always going to happen. I never chose to say this. It is just a consequence. It is just the universe unfolding according to the way it was always going to unfold. A little scurry, but, hey, read that story. Damn it, what is it called? Fuck it, just read all of Ted Chiang's Exhalation. I swear to God, if you like sci-fi in any way, thoughtful sci-fi, like, humane sci-fi, it'll rustle your jimmies so hard, those jimmies, boom, read that shit. That third story that's only 3 pages encapsulates my entire worldview into a beautiful 3-page short story. One of the greatest pieces of writing I've read ever. Check it out. Okay. Woo! Now I am super hoarse. All right. Where are we at? Have you ever seen... No, I went through there. Grovel said I should read the Awaken Online series. I will have to check it out. I will Google it as soon as I am done here. Atheist Moses says, I think I'm on the wrong video. I am sorry for the rant, man. I got really high, and I tend to rant when I'm high. Mexican Lullify says, I usually go to One Love Dispensary on Broadway. Mexican Lullify, I am sorry because very soon that will be a MedMen dispensary and no longer One Love. It used to be my local dispensary du jour too, but I just made a video about it. Check it out. And Always B says, is this 7th grade science? Probably. I'd like to think that a 7th grader would be smarter than I am, and that they would see what I just put out there and be like, that dude's full of shit. Like, I hope our education system is better than me. I mean, like, if not, if a 7th grader saw that and was convinced, we're all doomed. Philip Baca says, we are on the verge of Minority Report. It is not impossible to believe that one day every human's impulse could be known and charted. Not impossible at all. Steve Malcolm, hey, how's it going, man? Kelly Stone says, damn, that's crazy, but yeah, that's true. And also, do I smoke flower? Be real cool if I did strain reviews. I do smoke real flower, Kelly Stones. I might at some point start doing strain reviews, but as I've always said, it is not my area of expertise. As much as I love weed, Kelly, and I do love my weed, too much, to a scary degree. I've always been a weed is weed guy. Like, even really indica sativa doesn't matter that much to me. I mean, a little bit, and I do have some slight taste preferences for strains over them, but I don't know enough. I'm not educated enough, and I'm not a sommelier of weed. Let's just put it that way. I can't tell you the difference. And research the more research that comes out is sort of errs on the side of like it doesn't, strains are, the terpene profile might be different, so, it might taste different, but I don't know. The jury's still out on how different strains actually really are, and I'm bad at it. I'm super bad at it. So there are plenty of people better than me doing it. I would just be another person doing it, and I wouldn't be doing it as good as them. But I'd still consider it. Okay, holy shit. 2 hours and 15 minutes. That might be a record. No, I did like a 4-hour live stream for 420 last year, I think. So this isn't a record, but this is a long stream for me. I'm feeling pretty satisfied with myself. And my internet held out the whole time. Go Spectrum. Pat yourself on the back. Woo! I'm not gonna be able to talk tomorrow. Gonna be super hoarse. But it was super worth it. I actually had a blast hanging out, guys. It's been a lot of fun. It's been super chill. And I really appreciate you guys just cherry popped. Well, Grovel, I'm afraid I didn't advertise it before, and you got deprived of 2 hours of prime ranting, because I was on some good tears there. You missed the whole way I'm gonna fix the United States, but we can get back into that next time. All right, I'm gonna go rest this voice. I'm gonna go maybe take a couple more THC capsules, and I'll see all you fine folks probably next week. I'll be sure to put up at least 24 hours notice the next time I'm about to live stream. I promise. All right, guys. Later, everyone. Ciao. Oh, wait. This has been The Real Shit, and I have one of these for you, too. Yeah. Let me do one more of those.
And this has been The Real Shit.